is that stop leaving money on the table. My goal today is that to give you some ideas on how to increase your profit in a matter of days automatically. Now that I've set up a high bar for myself, let's go over the agenda. I'm going to talk a little bit about what linking is, and I'm going to quickly give you 2 case studies, both linking web to the books and also books within other books. And I'm going to go into the business model. So this is a story of Fair Observer. Fair Observer is a news publisher, and something that news publishers do is that they link to other news articles, both within their own site as well as to news articles from other websites. And recently, Fair Observer launched a new book. And one of the first things that they do is put up a banner ad on their site. And this is something that you guys probably do already. You probably even ask your authors to link from their blogs to your books as well. So this is great, but we can do more. I used to work at Google as a software engineer for about 5 years in the online advertising business. And if I learned one thing, it is that advertising at Google is all about relevancy. And this is something that I'm trying to bring to the publishing world. So in addition to the previous ad I showed you, Fair Observer also uses the Mobnotate related book widget. So this article is about the Egyptian uprising last year. Mobnotate analyzes the entire book and is able to find that within that book there are few excerpts. Also talks about the uprising in Egypt. So it then puts those excerpts on the bottom of the news article, and then with a link to purchase. So this is actually very powerful, right? And let me explain. Books tend to be much longer than blog posts. They cover many different kinds of topics. So we're able to provide a unique excerpt based on which article the reader comes from. We're essentially tailoring our book pitch for each potential reader. In fact, earlier today, some of the speakers talked about the Italian ebook market is still small. There's no reason this method you cannot link back to the print book, right? So I don't want to think of digital and print as separate. They could actually be enforcing each other using a digital channel driving print sales. So what's the end result? Fair Observer is able to get about 4% click-through rates. What that means is for every 100 people who visit a news article with a Mobnotate related book widget, about 4 people would click on a link. This is amazing engagement. To give you a sense, right, a typical advertisement on Facebook gets less than 0.5% click-through. We're getting 10 times more clicks with this approach. Now, for the second case study, I want to talk about linking books to other books. This is the Steve Jobs book within the iPad. Here, Mobnotate analyzes the whole book, and in certain key places, we insert a subtle and unobtrusive icon. And now it turns out that Steve Wozniak, the lesser famous co-founder of Apple, he wrote a book too. In fact, actually years before Steve Jobs did. So when a reader sees this icon and she can click on it, we extract an excerpt from the Steve Wozniak's book, put it right there. Basically, Steve Jobs, in his book, he would be saying, OK, I have no idea what Steve Wozniak was working on that night. You click over, there's an excerpt in Steve Wozniak's book saying exactly what he was working on and the challenges he faced. And if she likes the excerpt, she can click read more, and we redirect her to the other book and give her a way to buy it. The idea here is that every book you own should be promoting every other book you own too, right? But again, we do this in a subtle and relevant way. That is not a distraction for the reader. It also works across platforms. So from the iPad, just like I showed you, to the e-ink Kindle readers. There's a lot of readers on these devices, and everything else in between. Now, how do you make money, right? And how do you, importantly, how do I help you make money? So there are essentially 2 philosophies behind our business model. First, we don't get paid unless you get paid. Very simple. And the second component I want to focus on is this risk. There's a lot of risk to use any tool. For risk, first, on operational risk, the philosophy here is that you should be able to stop using our tool, Mobnotate, anytime you want and as easily as possible. So for whatever reason you don't like it. And this is true for the both web-to-book linking as well as books-to-book linking. You can actually stop using Mobnotate in a matter of hours if you want, without my permission, right? So in fact, if you don't tell me that you stop using Mobnotate, you wouldn't even know about it. So you don't even need me to stop using it. There's no integration risk. The second risk is financial risk. So here, our business model is essentially affiliate plus revenue share. And so let me walk you through the calculation real quick. So this is your, for the book-to-book linking case, this is your profit today, right? I have nothing to do with it. You keep all of that. I don't touch it. Since Mobnotate is a sales generation tool, so we'll be adding to this component. Of course, Amazon and other stores have to take their cut. Mobnotate also gets a kickback from these stores out of their portion. It's typically about 5 to 10%. And then after that, you might, in some cases, have to give royalties to your authors. And the net proceeds after that, we essentially ask for half. Still, you should always be making more money with Mobnotate. For the web-to-book case, essentially, we don't even take a cut from the net proceeds. So we only get it from the kickback from the stores. You keep 100% of that. Time check with that right now. OK. So now you ask, right, links are great, but why should we use you? Well, first of all, there are tons of startups do links. Linking of web pages, linking of tweets, linking of videos. We are focused on the linking of long-form content. So books, case study, journal article, so on. And because of that, we're able to do a better job at this than anyone else. I've shown you 2 ways to link, linking both web to books as well as books to other books, as well as the business model. And the philosophy here is it should always be ROI positive for you, and it should be a low-risk way for publishers to adopt this. So I have some backup slides, but before I go into Q&A, I want to thank Marco for inviting me to the IfBookThen community. And in return, I want to give this community a special offer. If you're here and you want to use Mobnotate, you can sign up in this special link. Basically, we'll link all the books within your own catalog, and for the first 3 months, you get to keep 100% of the proceeds. And this is actually my email, so you can also send me a direct email.
Thank you, Ricky. Go this way. Actually, when I say your technology, basically you've been talking to the publishing community, but I was listening to you as a reader.
Okay.
And basically, you providing me a service as a reader. I bought a book from one of these publishers,
right,
and I'm reading that book that I'm interested, and basically through your technology,
right,
you're making me discover other books, right, that are related to that topic.
Right.
Is that what you're doing?
Exactly. And you know, the 4% click-through rate really shows, right? People really like this kind of content. They don't think of it as advertisement. You know, it is a premium content upsell, really. And a lot of publishers in the US, you know, and have this dilemma of advertising, right? You have sponsor ad, and it kind of gets into the battle with the editorial. But in this case, we're actually promoting content that is higher quality, and people are clicking on it and buying them.
So you're making my happy finger. Basically,
yes. Keep your fingers happy.
Okay, keep the fingers happy, because what you're doing is you're providing contextual content that
right,
is related to the content
right,
that I'm
right,
reading.
That is very key, contextual.
Now, this I think it will work on economies of scale, meaning that you will have to have a lot of books in order to be correlated, right, or not. Or it could be done with 3 books.
In the case of Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, even with 2 books, there's linking opportunities. It is a machine learning algorithm, so the more data you feed it, the better it gets. But right now, publishers are not doing any of this. So it's a matter of comparing 0 to something. But we can definitely increase it over time. But you shouldn't say no to money. I mean, it's leaving money on the table, right? Like the title of the talk,
You should say no to innovation. Because,
Yes.
I mean, in terms of trying and getting something back, I will say no to innovation.
Absolutely.
If there's any question from Ricky, he made a very competitive offer, you guys. I really think you should at least try it out. I have tested the technology, and it's beautiful. It works. How complex it is to get all your... Do you need the master files, I believe, in order to be able to digest all this content?
I need your content.
Okay.
That's about it. Essentially, you give me your content. I create links. I give it back to you in the same format. So you could distribute your content just like you would have done with the unmodified, unlinked version. That's also a reason why it should be no risk for you to unintegrate, because you can just stop distributing the linked version and go back to your original version anytime you want. And in fact, if you don't tell me about it, what I would see is, oh, I'm getting less clicks from this publisher. I don't know why. So the control is definitely on the publisher 100%.